feelings hurt. Read this.
Well, hey there.
Hey there.
Well, we started already?
We did.
I wasn't even ready for that. Oh, my gosh.
Hey there. There they are. Taylor.
They're here, Taylor.
Taylor, we're on. It's time
geez.
for another episode of Karman Line Short Review.
I love
Sweet.
that show.
That's
I
pretty good.
know. I
Great
love
show.
it, too. It's the only thing we get to do here in Payman's
Here
Void.
in Payman's Void.
That's the way
Where,
it goes.
where three cursed filmmakers are doomed to review short films forever. And whenever we're not reviewing short films, we simply don't
We
exist.
Cease to exist.
Yeah.
So it's nice to exist.
So
every
we
now and
literally live
Yeah.
for this.
then. I'll check it out.
Oh, that was nice of
Oh,
Payman.
you popped in with a coffee.
Pretty cool.
Taylor Payman. Yeah. You have to do that anytime.
Payman.
Anytime he does any boon for us.
Ooh, that looks disgusting.
Oh,
Why do you give me this? That sucks, dude. Ew.
Is that strawberry fruit?
Yeah, strawberry fruit.
that looks like someone chewed up some fruit and
And spit it back out.
back in your cup.
Payman did. He was like,
Today we have a movie called, what is this called? Inner Clock to Be Yourself?
Inner clock to be yourself. All caps inner clock.
Inner Clock, I'm guessing, is the title. To Be Yourself is
oh,
probably the
like,
subtitle.
yeah.
Subtitle.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
This is a repeat offender film.
Yes, written and directed by Kripa Prasad.
Yep.
I want to say that we're saying his name, right?
I think that's pretty close.
Kripa.
Yep.
Kripa.
He is yet to correct us.
This guy is an insane filmmaker and has made
Yes.
what other films?
No. Let's clarify. We're
Yeah.
not suggesting that you, Kripa, are insane.
No, that's what I meant.
Kripa,
Kripa, you're insane.
He makes insane films.
Yeah.
Yes. The last movie he made was Passion for the Nation.
Passion for the Nation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That movie was crazy.
Yeah,
Which
check
was-
out.
yeah.
Check out the link.
Like
right
you
here.
somewhere.
have to watch.
Yeah. Over there.
You have to watch these movies, whether you like them or not. You must watch them.
Yes, they are very, very much something.
I am now
else.
100% on board for more Kripa.
Totally.
I am.
I'm a Kripa fan.
I want more Kripa. Yeah. So watch this movie before we review it.
Yeah, there's a link in the description.
Okay, shall we move into first impressions?
First impressions. Here we go. Let's go, Kenny.
All right.
Give me your first impression.
So it took me a long time to go, this is a documentary. Like, it took a while for me to get there, but I eventually got there, and I was like, what the?
Yeah.
This is literally a surreal experimental documentary,
Quite.
which is like not a thing.
It's not.
It's really not a thing.
yeah.
Like that is one obscure genre.
Yeah.
Well, which we think might be
It might not be intentional.
intentional,
No.
right?
Like, I mean, this just may be the way Kripa sees the whole world.
It could be.
This is just his paradigm. I
Or
don't
how
know.
he wants to express himself.
Yeah. It's clearly meant to be a message film. It was really hard to capture what the message was.
Yeah.
It took us several watches and reading the description.
Although Taylor over here,
Taylor claims
I-
to have picked it up the first time.
I picked it up the first time.
yeah, and then didn't pick it up the
But then I
second
didn't
time.
pick it up the second time. I forgot and couldn't figure it out.
So basically, you have this guy who's like, he says something poignant at the beginning, and then he says, for example, meet these three women, and they sort of tell their stories.
It feels like a commercial. It feels like a very long commercial.
Well, it actually isn't right to call it a documentary, now that I think about it.
Yeah. Well, because we're not documenting anything.
Right.
though.
This is really more of, like I said, it's a message piece.
An
It's
editorial.
It's a propaganda.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Actually,
funded.
I'll let you finish your first thoughts.
I mean, with the three women, it's a little bit sort of documentary. I mean, they have a story to tell. We
Yeah.
don't really get into it very much. Anne Moffat there was in his previous movie as an actress, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she played.
But
the mom.
man, this film was like visually insane.
Pretty
like
nuts.
I felt like I went down Alice's rabbit hole, and I had eaten the mushrooms, and was watching a documentary in Wonderland. And it had like this constant ticking throughout, like the clock was always running, and this weird high pitched screech
Yeah.
would just come in every so often, as if you had said we were trying to be
Hypnotized. That's what it felt like. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
First impressions.
Same.
Cool.
Nice. Nice. I like that.
Yeah, I definitely thought this was insane. It definitely lived up to his previous film, which was very much the same kind of all-in-your-face crazy
yeah.
over the top style.
Yeah, what started out with a jet plane.
Yeah,
coming
like
through.
like jet like stock footage of like jets
Yeah.
and like the military and all that.
Yeah.
Tons of double exposure things.
Yeah, just insane stuff.
Did he use those also in the other film?
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Passion
Yeah.
for the Nation?
Yeah,
Okay.
he did.
He I did get the second time we watched this, I did get the impression that it was a commercial.
Yeah.
Kind of like the message thing. Like I was like, is this actually a commercial
like
for something?
It legit feels that
Yeah.
way to me.
And then I felt like the first time through I understood, like I was really paying attention to it. I was like trying to figure it out and listen to what they were saying, and I felt like I got the message of what he says in the description. But then we didn't watch it again for about a week or so, and then we just watched it again just now, and I did not get it. Yeah, I was like, I was trying to remember.
You were in
I
a
was
higher
like,
state last
I
time.
must have been, yeah. So yeah, crazy movie.
My first impressions, I didn't know what to make of this movie. For like this whole intro just knocked me out of my chair. I didn't understand. This clock that keeps coming in, I understand it's for the theme of the
Symbolism.
the simple symbolism of displaying a clock, but
passing.
then like these titles, man,
Does life impose us on circumstances?
and the font that he uses, that's just like, it's kind of impact with like this red outline, and I'm like, geez, this is like really in your face. Look at that.
This one really gets me.
Yeah.
17.6 million people, 2017.
Like I can't even
Killed
read
around the
everything
world.
because of how big it is.
How fast your heart is ticking. Choice is yours.
Yeah, and look at the lines that come up from
Yeah. It's
Like-
so frantic.
It's everywhere. Yeah, so I really didn't know what to make of it, and then as we started getting to the interview part, I was like, oh, maybe this is more of, like you said, like a documentary kind of thing, and then it did feel way more what's the word, experimental, because of things like this where we have a split
This
screen
is crazy.
with an extreme close-up.
Extreme close-up, shared with a photograph and a lower third.
And a lower
that has
third.
like 12 words in
right,
it.
with the name
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the right side.
The torn paper.
The torn
lower
paper,
third.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like a big
with
lower third.
with a drop shadow on it. It's just
Yeah.
there's so much stylization here, so it really threw
Yeah,
me for a
scream
loop.
style.
Yeah.
Screaming style.
So that was pretty insane.
So I don't know if Kripa is like views himself as sort of like an auteur filmmaker where, it's
Or-
like, I have a vision, I'm going to do it my way.
The best film award.
I saw that, yeah. I
What-
wonder
from where?
I don't know. They doesn't say, but he won. Hey, you win,
Congrats.
you win.
Somewhere.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
And if so, then my next comment doesn't matter because if you're an auteur, you just do crap your way,
Right.
no matter what,
Right.
But I made a film that actually ended up looking a lot like the frame we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
Where we had like a head squeezed into one little portion of the screen and all kinds of stylization all over. I had this like comic book themed documentary where I went deep down the rabbit hole and made this hyper stylized thing. And I had never let another person look at it for feedback until I had completely finished a first cut. And when I began to show it to people, no one understood what they were looking at. They were like, this is insane, Kenny. It's not making any sense. And I was so close to the content that I saw a story,
Right.
but no one else could because
Right.
all my visual stimulation was in the way.
So it became more expressionist.
Right, and so, no, then I began to take everyone's
Right,
input,
right.
and I completely overhauled everything,
Yeah.
and like all of this fancy comic book artwork became like a very soft background behind the speaker, like 100% different from what I had originally done,
Yeah.
so that people could understand the story,
Right.
you know.
And that's what's weird about this one, I think, is because we have something that looks like it's story first, or at least message first. But on top of that, there's like an extreme stylization.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to have both sides,
Well, it really makes me question if this is a filmmaker who goes and gets audience opinions and
Right.
peer feedback,
Well,
and
that
is
is
really
interesting,
trying to
yeah.
connect that way, or is just trying to express their
See,
own style.
Now that's kind of weird because this shows me kind of like what we would call a 4-0 movie, right? Where we're saying everything. We're giving all the
It's
information, leaving nothing to interpretation.
4-0 message with a 0-4 style.
Right, with like a 0-4 style. Yeah. It's quite weird.
It seems like he...
To know what we're talking about, 4004, click here.
Yes.
It seems like there is a large amount of... It's like, along to what you're saying, there's like a context in his head. Like our ultimate thing we always say is the context is in your head, where in the sense that everything in this movie stylistically, like showing the heartbeat and all that stuff, having the clock constantly throughout, is all insane, but it is also all connecting to the theme of the movie too.
Right, yeah,
right? It's not completely random.
Right,
Showing
random,
like the time lapse of New York is just showing how insignificant you are as
all,
one person, right? It all
this all definitely has
meshes.
intent.
Yeah. So I can see like Kripa looking through all this stuff and being like, I need a heartbeat monitor asset and throw it in, and it makes sense if you really think about it, but it's not exactly obvious, and it's not exactly, it's easy to mistake or to get confused, I would say, in this kind of film where done like this, it's easy to get confused.
Yeah.
Where I'm not sure if that's what you would be going for in a movie like
I don't
this,
think so.
a sort of documentary-esque thing where I don't think you would want your audience to be very confused.
I wouldn't think so. This is odd. I was just looking at this. It says coronary arteries.
Which is
that part of this clip?
Part of that
clip, and then is that the border of it up there? Oh, you guys can't see it, but there's a border on my screen. It's odd.
Shall we move on to our first topic?
Yeah.
Second topic, I guess.
First topic.
First real topic.
First real topic is editing.
Oh, we're going straight to editing, huh?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Just jump in editing. Wow.
Sorry.
Hey, no, it's cool with me.
No, it's fine. We can do it. I'm ready.
There's editing, sound, and directing. Which
we'll
one?
do editing.
Editing. You already said it.
We're in. Editing it is. So can I start off by just saying that in documentary, in most cases, you write your film with editing.
Yeah.
Editing is more of a storytelling tool in documentary than it is anywhere else. Editing is where you write the movie.
Yeah.
It is your time to sit down and write a screenplay. If you have a message you want to convey, it's by taking this collection of footage you've gone out and gathered from all over the place and assembling it as if you were writing a story. And clearly that's what the attempt is here. What I can see is someone trying to paint. I see an empty canvas. His palette contains all kinds of clips and fonts and he is making a very busy painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. How do you think it works?
I don't think it works. No, I mean, I see a lot of this in beginning editing classes. There was a graphic design class that I had, and in the beginning, everyone loved using the Photoshop filters whenever they were in Photoshop. So there was one part in the class where my teacher was saying, okay, everyone use as many filters as you can just to get it out of your system. That way we can continue to learn after that. Because you get so excited when you have all those tools at your disposal. So the same thing happens in editing class. You have all these layers and opacities and different fonts and everything, all these tools, and you just want to use them all because, when you look at this image, you can see, this is a very impactful font. It's one that's red, it's bright, it's out there. Same with these.
Yeah.
It's easy to overuse all this stuff. I think when you're just saying, I have all these tools, I really want to just paint, like you said, just put it all out there. And I think it doesn't work because I think it overstimulates and it doesn't get to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly think that Kripa probably had all the right pieces available to convey the message he wanted to convey.
Yeah.
Between the narrator person and the interviews.
Yeah.
But we really didn't get to experience any of that.
Right, because
Right?
the stylization was so strong.
You know, and when you interview a person and you get like this intimate lifestyle footage of them like doing things they do in their life. You know, we have this cool footage of that woman dancing.
Yeah.
And we see the pictures of her in her younger years.
Yeah.
When she used to dance, and that's like really good. And what you want to do is let us
Focus
get
on that.
intimate with it, so that we can connect to the characters. But instead, he kept throwing up barriers.
Right.
Like sometimes literal barriers, layers of imagery in between us and the subject.
Right.
That keep us from getting to know these characters. Like, I can't remember anything about them.
Right.
Because we never had a chance to connect. I mean, she looks like she must be dead. The way that is there, it's just this ghost of her.
Yeah, it becomes, it becomes surreal.
Yeah,
it becomes unintentionally surreal.
It does,
and very like hazy, and you just kind of like, it becomes an expressionist film, unintentionally. I believe, yeah.
Right. Could I add? There was one moment in this where I felt like he actually used the double exposure look in a cool way.
Yeah.
It's near the beginning of the film. The dancer woman with the long hair, they show a photo double exposed over her. That was it. Where their eyes line up.
Yeah,
like
when the eyes lining up, yeah.
Like that was really cool. But then it became like the motif of the whole movie.
Right.
Was this double exposure thing.
Right.
And not long ago, the three of us, just as a creative exercise, decided to see if we could make a really bad movie on purpose.
Yeah.
Right? And,
and part of that was...
And one of the things we were like, okay, well, what would be in a super amateur bad movie? And the first thing that came to mind was tons of double exposure stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, it's a super overused crutch to... a lot of new filmers. They discover that and they're like, "Ooh, that looks cool."
It's something
Just
new.
do it over and over and over and over.
Yeah, it's that tool set thing. I was gonna say this feels like cooking. If you're a first time at cooking and you just over season it like crazy because you're like, oh man, I got all these and put it all in.
Yeah.
And then you eat it just like
bay leaf in there and some mint and some thyme and some cayenne pepper.
And then pretty soon
like, this tastes really bad.
Yeah. You don't have a whole taste. You could just taste just a barrier of seasoning.
Yeah.
And that's what this movie quote tastes like, is this barrier of stylization.
Yes, that's a very good analogy.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the next category?
Good green screen though. This is a good chroma key.
That's a near flawless key.
This is a really good key.
Like, look at his hair.
Except when you play it.
Jeez.
Oh no, I was gonna say when you play it, it still looks good.
He's really good.
Yeah. You know what's funny? His tie also isn't causing any moire with the lens.
Nope.
That's interesting.
You got the inevitable light reflection in the glasses, which is a pain in the butt to.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of gray
with D.
No.
What light source? There's a light source in the void.
Yeah, you should take the lenses out.
Yeah, take the lenses
just
out.
for shooting.
Right. Okay. Next category.
Seriously good key.
It is seriously good. Next category is sound. I want to take the lead on this.
Please.
If you don't mind. Do it. That ticking sound was maddening. To me.
Wrong. It gave the wrong emotional response.
Yes, and so what I wanted to point out was exactly that. Was that the ticking felt like it was anxiety driven, and when he's talking about, living your life successfully and all that, and showing these girls, the image, the feeling that's cast over it, feels like super anxiety, and it feels like what he's going to tell me is something's wrong with all of this.
Well, and he set up anxiety with the whole 17 million people died.
Right.
And how many ticks are left in your heart? So yeah.
Yeah, so it
that
set it up
sound
with that.
Really just carried
and
that
then,
on.
yeah, as it carried in, it was like the entire time. And then at the at intervals, they had those dings,
Those
Which-
are insane.
which were
It
weird.
sounded
yeah.
like screeching brakes.
It
Yeah.
did. It did sound
On a
like brakes.
car.
Yeah.
Some kind of weird, like, sharp ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
never
after-
understood why.
After it had repeated several times, for some reason, I began to think of the stirring the teacup in Get Out.
And Get Out. Right.
You know, it's just like the chime going. Ring, ring,
That's what reminded me of Hypnosis, right?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, he's. Man,
It did freak me out.
Yeah.
It made me feel very strange. Every time that sound came in, I was like, this is bizarre.
Right. Yeah, and with all the moving imagery, with
Yeah.
over layers and everything, that made you feel like this is something different.
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't know why those were in
Actually,
there.
him being in front of the ticking clock and what looks like an ancient manuscript
Yeah.
simultaneously made me feel visually that this guy was either had some kind of hidden, secret, clandestine knowledge,
Right, yeah.
or was like a bad guy,
Right.
Like a serious, like
Yeah.
like a villain.
Yeah, he seems like almost like a cult leader.
Yes,
In
having
this-
him center frame.
Yeah.
All right, but that's not sound. So let's get back to sound.
Right. Oh, and the VO in here, although it wasn't all completely terrible because you could hear the girls what they were saying and everything,
Yeah.
and him, and using a lapel mic. Look at that. But the
He sounded good.
yeah, he did sound good. But the other sounds with the girls, I know one of them had like street noise in it.
Yeah.
And every time that her VO came in, you heard the street noise too, and it felt like because we have such strong stylization, it felt like that was intentional.
Right. That's the thing. It's like that's always a challenge when you do documentary because you tend to shoot parts in different places,
Right.
And so one
With
of your
different gear,
interviews
too.
might be outside in a park somewhere, and you might have police that drive by right when the person is saying the most important thing.
Right.
So what that does is it puts some restrictions on you. You can still use that, but anytime you cut to it, you have to clue the audience in that we're going back to that space with like a a wide shot. What do you call that? Establishing shot.
Yeah.
Like an establishing shot, or bleeding in that audio first,
Right.
and then cutting to that space and realizing, oh, we're here again, so that sound makes sense.
Right. Yeah, like you said with the cop car.
Right.
If you were to cut that in,
Right.
suddenly people would think, "Oh, why did you put a cop car in there?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's very hard to montage that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Good point.
This guy's full of ideas.
Yeah. I don't really have too much more to say about sound.
I had something really strange to say about. Just what I have to say is strange.
Oh, really?
No, not really.
Oh, that's too bad.
This part was odd.
Oh,
That
yeah.
that
Or we cut right out.
where it kept. This felt like super weird to me.
That's insane. That is absolute insanity.
Not just the sound.
Everything about
him
that.
vanishing.
Yeah.
That makes me feel so weird.
Your own inner flock. That would be something.
Oh my gosh. That's like
It's
a
like he came. Now I feel
hardcore
like he came from the future.
experimental.
Right.
He
Yeah.
came from the future to tell us his message.
Yeah, it does feel
And now
hardcore
he's
experimental too.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
Like the sound, it becomes like insane.
Yeah, this layered effect that you have like a ton reverb. Yeah, and then it just cuts. And then we have this clock chime that continues, but it's one clip over and over, and so you hear that.
That's maddening.
While we read an Albert Einstein quote.
Right, and with the clock ticking also, and it just feels so bizarre. It feels like you said, we're in like some sort of experimental realm.
My mind's blown to bits. I don't know if we can go on.
Last category.
Kripa, you're killing us.
The last one to talk about is directing.
Directing, I think if we look past, just for a moment, if we look past the insane sound design and the insane editing and look at what story he's trying to tell,
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty interesting story, or at least the idea of having 3 different women who are all at different points of their life and trying to achieve their own goals regardless of their age, and not comparing yourself to other people's success and stuff like that. Like, that's kind of a cool idea to demonstrate that with like evidence, like real world evidence, as these people have these real experiences.
Yeah.
So I like that vision. Again, like we've said throughout this episode, it's just that it becomes muddled and insane because of all the effects and stylization and editing and all that.
Definitely that.
So I just wanted to say it's a cool idea.
I like the idea too. I like the idea that, like you said, the success thing, because that's a idea that I closely relate with.
Yeah.
All three of us do.
Yeah.
You know, is that you're in control of your own life, and everything that you do is a choice of yours. And I like the idea, you know, that we have different success in different kinds of people, you know, where she has her success, or what she defines as success, later on in her life, as opposed to these other people. Like, and she wrote a book.
Yeah.
And the other people have other stuff. I don't know. But anyway, I like the idea, like you said.
Well, we often define direction as carrying out the vision, as how successful was someone in directing a idea
Yeah.
into reality.
I guess that's more writing what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
As far as direction goes.
and so under that, maybe Kripa steps back from this and goes, nailed it. This is exactly what I wanted.
Right.
You know, he's the auteur and he made his vision, and if so, then great. But
Which-
if a part of that vision
Yeah.
is communicating to an audience, I don't see how this succeeds.
Right. Well, I can totally see this as the same guy who made Passion for the Nation.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And
That movie
being,
could have continued playing without ending and
it would
played
have felt
right
the same,
into
yeah.
this, and yeah.
Yeah. With that being said, it definitely feels like there's a strong element of a creator here. I wouldn't say that's a strong direction or a strong vision, because I'm not sure exactly what he's trying to do.
Yeah. It's hard to find where director begins and other categories end
Yeah.
when it's like a solo-driven documentary,
Right.
right? Because you're kind of directing while you're shooting, you're directing while you're editing.
Right.
Right, all the
in
time.
documentary.
Which he did all of them.
Yeah.
You know, in here.
Right.
If we go to the credits, he was concept writer, editor, and director. So,
Yeah.
and part of the camera too. Sound, he had
3 people.
2 people, one
sorry.
person,
One person.
and he had an AD. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
Well, the assistant directing was awesome.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was
really good
on
AD.
point.
On point.
Should we have some questions?
Yep.
Yeah. What
We're
part
going
of
to
the
do
show is
questions
this?
now.
What?
What part of the show was this?
Oh, this is the questions part.
This
the
is
questions
part,
part.
you ask questions to the
This is the
filmmaker.
part of the show where we ask questions to the filmmaker.
Yeah.
But hey, don't tune out if you're not the filmmaker, because we want you to participate too. If you're, a general audience,
Yeah.
we'll call the rest of you guys.
The normies.
Kripa's friends.
Kripa's friends. Ask Kripa
yeah.
Some questions that you have of the production. Ask us things you thought we may have missed, or things you agree with.
Yeah, we'll respond to any questions you guys have, but also hopefully the filmmaker Kripa will chime in and answer our questions and your questions,
Yes.
and we'll all grow and become better human beings.
Awesome.
Whoa. Human beings?
Human being,
Not
like
just
like,
filmmakers?
like the coffee shop. Human
Better-
beings.
Human beings?
Yeah.
Better people.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, we're
Cool.
going to transcend mortality.
That's fantastic.
Well, ask the questions then.
Good. Oh.
Come
I'll start.
Speechless.
Kripa, we talked about what we thought of this movie from the very beginning. Our first impressions of it being like almost surreal, kind of this take from it, and how this was super stylized. Is that what you were intending? When you're creating something like this, did you want it to be overtly stylized so that the message that you're getting across is almost hidden by it, or were you trying more or less to punch that image, or to punch that message straight through with all this layering of stylization?
We asked the exact same question with his last movie.
Did we?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Did you answer our last movie? Answer this one.
Yeah, answer the questions of both of your movies. That's a request.
I got one now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Why do you make movies?
Ooh.
I
That's
don't mean
good.
that in a
No, yeah, yeah.
negative way at all.
That's a
I
good
mean,
question,
like,
yeah.
Like what?
I ask myself
What drives
that
you to
all
make
the
the movie?
time.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
drives you to make
Why
movies?
do I keep doing it?
Yeah, but seriously, yeah. Why? What is the
It's your
driver?
motivation.
Yeah, what's the motive? It's a good question, Taylor.
That's it. I'm done.
So I have two questions for you. First, who are your filmmaker influences, your favorite filmmakers? What kind of movies do you hope to make? And second, where did this film win was it Best Film Award? Or
That's
best,
what it said. Yeah. Best film award.
Best Film Award. Where did that take place? Was that in a film festival? I'd love to find out. Thanks.
Wow.
Cool.
We did it.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kripa, for another great experience.
Yeah, and please submit more films.
More Kripa movies,
This
please.
is the second one that we've got from you. Please answer our questions first.
Yeah, answer the questions.
Submit some.
Yeah, play along. Come on. Come on. Can't just send us movies and not answer the questions. You got to answer the questions.
I hope he's seen the episodes even.
Yeah, watch the episode.
Watch the episode, man. All right.
Okay.
We're
We're done here?
We're done.
Karman line out.
Okay. Bye.